Okay, this is Jim Wade, everybody.
I have us. Yes. I don't know how I have us, but I have us.
Well, the sound of that music means it's time for another CasperCop Power Hour.
Woohoo.
Yes, I think we finally got it.
Big, huge shout out and thank you to Leanne for helping us with this.
Thank you, Leanne.
My mentor, psychic
awesome.
medium.
Yes.
Find her at leannedouglas.com.
Yeah, so we'll get to you in a minute because this is going to be the big battle today.
Oh no, what are we battling?
We have been this is going to be crazy tonight.
Oh,
Yeah, we are going to be debating the evil in the paranormal field. And everybody knows my motto, the unknown, it isn't evil, just misunderstood. That's all.
Huh.
I think we'll have to define the term evil for this.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, that sounds really good. That sounds like a
Let's start.
a plan. So welcome everybody to another show of the CasperCop's Power Hour. We had some technical difficulty, and it is tough being the producer, the director, the technician, the computer guy. I think that's technician, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do I know?
Yes, it is, darling.
What do I
Technical
know?
support.
So we have 2 live now.
So we are here live. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi, Jane.
How are you?
I'm doing fabulous.
And we had some activity last night, didn't we?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I'd
We're-
like that ball returned.
Yeah, actually, we are going
I'm
to
hoping it gets returned tonight.
we're going to get to that shortly, but we have a guest here today, and we are going to start hopefully like a new segment, and I think we're going to call it something. So, Eddie?
To the witch. We made him.
And the magic that we'll feel is worth a lifetime. How are you, Lesley?
I'm good, James. How are you?
Me too. That is going to be our new segment. So when we go off to the witch, we may never come home.
Oh, no.
But the magic
least not
that
the
we
same.
feel is
Okay,
worth the
there we go.
lifetime.
That I will agree with Lesley.
Well, why don't you introduce yourself, Lesley?
I'm Lesley. I am a psychic medium and intuitive, also a witch. I'm very excited to be here and have this discussion with you.
Me
Elizabeth,
too.
I'm so glad you are here with me
I'm
this
looking
time.
forward to seeing you tonight as well. Not just here. I'm a little excited.
Now-
Thank you for joining us.
Leslie and I, we met what, a couple years ago
Yeah, through Dave.
through Dave. Yeah.
husband.
I ran into him out working, and he's like, "Hey, my wife's into this type of stuff. Can she come to one of your tours?" And this was early on, and I'm like, "Absolutely." I'm like, "Why don't you come too?" And he's like, "Oh, no, I don't deal with that kind of stuff."
He still won't.
I'm like, "Dave, man, I'll protect you." But no, But anyways, yes. So you came out, and why don't you tell us about your experience here? What you felt the first time you came here?
A lot of excitement. A lot of excitement. There's a lot of energy up here, especially in the actors area. Down at the far end, I call it the door to nowhere, because you open it up and
The
it's
panic
so
room.
dark. It's like the black abyss in there.
You really need to stop calling that the panic room.
Junior called it the panic room. So
Well, that was his experience in there.
right, he had a yeah.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny, but
But that was the night, I believe, that my friend and I saw, for first time for me, an actual, I don't know, would you call it an apparition? The individual we saw
that was the first time you
standing-
were here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be if you both
First-
saw it. Yeah, absolutely, apparition.
First one.
Huh.
With my naked eye, anyway.
Right. That was going into Kahuna Burgers and Floats
Yep.
there, the old beach house or the beach house.
Yeah. That was
Um,
interesting.
Yeah. She and her friend were here, and we were going into the last area that we do in the night, and she thought she saw somebody counting money. Did you
Well,
say?
they were standing at the end of the counter, and the way it looked is they were bent over, and it looked. My perception was, oh, there's a worker in there counting money. They must be cashing out their till for the night. And that's when I turned to you and I said, is there supposed to be anybody in there? And you said, no. I'm the one with the keys. And
Right.
Lori and I looked at each other and we both immediately flung the door open and went rushing in, and there was nobody standing there.
Right, because
Any
you two,
longer.
Right.
you two
it
were the
was-
first ones on the scene there.
Yeah, we were the first ones in the door.
Yeah.
We didn't even wait for you. We just went in.
Right.
I do that a lot too.
Right. So then,
follow.
so you've had some feelings here.
Oh, yeah.
Now, have you ever picked up on the little girl?
I cannot pick up on her for anything.
Hmm.
I cannot, for whatever reason, I cannot get a link to her. I cannot channel her.
Nothing.
Nothing. Nothing.
But there's
I can
others.
feel her.
In the arcade, I think it was when we were in the rotor that night.
Oh yeah, during
a
my
male
Ouija
came
board
through.
night.
Yeah, a male came through and gave me his name, and I can't recall that name now for anything, but that was when your friend John got that EVP
Right. Right. Okay.
telling him no.
Right.
I think he was replying to something you had said, but I don't remember what that was either.
Well, just to let everybody know, that was the second time you were you here prior? A
I've
couple
been
times
here a
prior
few
to that.
times.
I
Yeah.
know now you've been here because that was the first time we were here this year. That was the first.
That was this year. Yeah, there was
Right, and that was even.
probably, I want to say 3 times last year.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
I want to say 3.
and you also went with me. We were at the Shops at the Finish Line at that
Yes.
Ouija board presentation.
That was interesting.
We never used the Ouija board. We go to.
Stop looking
all
at
right,
me.
no.
I'm okay with you.
You
not
know what?
using the
I'm
Ouija
not.
Yeah, me
board.
too.
I've told him don't until you're schooled. Don't mess with it.
I wouldn't
I'm
even
schooled.
mess with it then.
Yeah.
I'm school. Well, all right. Here's the backstory of my Ouija board. Now, I'm sure you guys know the story about the bathhouse, the old bathhouse. That I'll recap it really quick. The park
Quickly.
had an old bathhouse that was back in the early 1900s. In fact, the earliest photo that I have is dated 1906. So back then, there was no plumbing, or hardly any plumbing. So people needed a place to go take a bath. Well, the park had a bathhouse, and you would go and rent a room for 5 cents. And back then, 5 cents was a lot of money. But you know what? During the tour, we can go and notice it.
Back up.
The sign for the bathhouse is still hanging in the Yesterday's Royale.
I would like to look at that again.
Yes.
You're getting off track.
So anyways, the bathhouse extended into the lake. People would go there and take a bath. Well, in 1954, nobody needed to use the bathhouse anymore due to modern plumbing. So the bathhouse was just wasting away, so they demolished it. They actually cut it into 3 pieces. 2 of the pieces were put together, and they are now Laughland, the ride Laughland. Now, the doors, it was a 300-room bathhouse. So there were literally these old doors with numbers on them, and they used those to do like the floor support of the attic and playland. So when you walk upstairs in the attic, you'll actually notice that there are numbers on the floor. And they also use part of it like to put up walls and stuff in Laughland itself. So when you walk through Laughland, which you don't get to walk through it because it's a ride, you actually ride through it.
Unless you're special like us.
Yes, unless you're like us. And I'm going to work on getting back in there, too. I want to go in there again and actually
with ya.
investigate it.
I'm with you.
But anyways,
Favorites.
Yes.
I think that night you deserved a hug, remember? I just
Yes.
we went in
It was
there
so
and I was
fun.
Just like, ow!
We found door number 84.
Yeah, we did.
Now, let me finish the story.
Anyways, back up.
The doors were used as like a recyclable material to build other things, also to rebuild the Laughland or to build Laughland. Now, door number 85 was found unfit to be any type of support because it was kind of cracked on the bottom.
Yep.
So in 1954, they took it, they threw it up in the corner in the attic of Playland, and that's where it sat until last year.
I taste nickel in my mouth.
Nickel? Mm-hmm. Are you sucking on a nickel?
No, I'm not sucking on anything lately.
Great. Well, great. This is a PG show. Well, right now it's got PG-13, but
Oh,
anyway.
and Junior's not here.
I know
Oh,
Junior's
goes.
not here to
We've
make
had
the
this discussion.
rude comment right back, but and he's not here to tell me my spot. But anyways, so door number
Bathhouse 84.
85 was found to be unfit for any type of support. So there it sat up in the attic of Playland, 1954, until last year, where I came up with an idea where I only wanted a tool, something that would possibly give me the girl's name. That's all I wanted it for. I was looking for a tool. Now, I'm not a big fan of all the equipment. I'm really not, because it's not proven enough to me so that to say, yes, that's actually a ghost. You know, I mean, we had some hits on the a K2 meter last night, and it was fun.
Yeah.
But I can't definitely. All it tells you is
can't
there's some
it went
energy
straight to
right
red,
there.
And then a little bit minutes, actually not moments, but minutes later, after it went to red, a ball just bounces from the part of the building where no one is at all of us. Not away from us.
Well, since you said it like that,
I'm
with
just
all
saying.
of it though, because wait a minute, the experiences that I've had with like the K2 and all of that stuff, it's
And you see, that's
it's
why I
not
started texting you
consistent
last
enough.
night. That's why I started texting you last night.
I know,
Okay,
and it
is
didn't
this
have anything
my
to do with
phone
the
that has an
text.
effect with this.
Right.
Nope. No, because I was texting when it happened, and my phone was leaning towards her. So I thought to myself, yeah, okay. And I still was doubtful, even when I put my phone away, until that
I'm like,
ball.
Who's texting me now? I'm in the middle of an investigation. What is going on here?
Yeah.
And I'm like, my phone's blowing up in my back pocket. I'm like, what the hell's going on?
No, what he meant was, oh my God, this is killing me. I can't pull my phone
I
out
know.
and
I
read
can't
it.
even pull my phone out right now because we're in the dark and people would know that I got my phone out, you know,
I
because it
was
would big
very-
bright thing. I'm like, oh, all
I
right,
was
do it.
very kind about it. I said, James, your butt vibrating is from me.
Yes, finally you said that. After about the 15th text.
It was only 3, you little liar.
I know. It felt like 100.
Yeah, well, you like the vibrating.
But anyway, so we had debunked that. It was not any text or anything when
No.
the K2 went off last night. However, it's still. I have a returning guests that come every year, and they're my fellow Casper cops, and I trust them. And there's this one that her daughter has like all the equipment. I mean, we're talking. She's got EMF detector. She's
It's
got
her
ghost
thing.
detector. It's her thing, and I'm all for it. If you want to come to my tour, and if you have something that you think can spark activity or communicate, let's see it. However, we have had that whole arcade was like, we had laser beams all over the place. We had little devices here and there, and we had absolute coin activity twice that night, and nothing, absolutely nothing went off. So last night was the first time that I could actually correlate that with actual activity. But again, it's not enough for me to say, yep.
Nothing is enough
That-
for me to say, yep, even being touched or seen with my own eyes. So, you know. I'm just convince me some more. Sure.
I'm convinced that that there is stuff going on here.
I'm convinced that
No
I don't want
doubt.
to say it out
Absolutely.
loud.
Absolutely.
So I
'Cause I've
say
seen
to you,
it.
I've been seeing it. I've been feeling it. And I still
Yeah.
am shocked. I'm shocked. I keep trying to find, I don't know how to, I want to say scientific evidence, but of a reason for these things to happen. But some of these things that have been happening lately, I feel like they're intentionally targeting me because I am such a, I really do. I feel like I'm being targeted right now. I'll be like, I told you I was here.
I
And you're
was,
going to listen
yes.
to me. And I will do a ball. I will throw a dime at you. I mean, it's being, these things are being thrown at me.
It was the same with me the first time. I mean, you hear me tell the stories. I mean, it took coin activity three times, Lesley. Before, and like you said when you read my cards at one time, they're screaming at you.
But
Well,
you're not listening.
No, I wasn't.
Took you a while to listen to me, too.
Yes, you wanted to slap me a few times.
I did.
But I mean, the first time it started registering, I'm like, okay, because I don't know how it could have happened. We hear a coin drop, and this is the very first time out in the park, in the arcade, first night, and there was about 6 of us, and we're all sitting in a circle, and we're doing an EVP session, and this is before I was videotaping, so I just had my audio recorder. So there is audio posted here on my Facebook page. So if you're interested, you can go back and look at the video. But
Moving along.
The 85 on the board. I'm sorry.
oh yeah, we forgot to finish that, didn't
Yeah.
We didn't. That's what her and I
You-
were just trying to
Holy
nicely
crap.
tell you. You know, moving along, 85 on the board.
we? I told you
Hint,
I
hint,
go
hint.
everywhere, but I'm the
So-
boss, so
Stop.
I'm gonna continue with the 85 on the board.
There you go. There
You want me to do it long story short?
Okay, long story short is I made door number 85 into a Ouija board, and my friend John Harris, he did all of the letters and numbers and symbols
Phenomenal
all out
job.
of
There will
brass.
actually, probably sometime tomorrow,
It didn't work, by the way.
I will have a photo of it put on so you could share it so the viewers can see just how beautiful.
Oh, it is.
turned
It's
out.
gorgeous.
I should have. You know what?
It's-
I have an amazing.
We should put it in a. It's in the other room. You want to use it?
No.
No.
Come on, it'll be
I
fun.
was reluctant to
I know.
come here with you the first time you had it.
Have I
Just
not?
to.
Well, you're the one who cleansed it for
Yeah,
me, so
I
I trust
know.
you. It's all clean.
Yeah, and did he tell
'cause
you
that's
how much
foolproof.
I screamed at him about making sure to try and get it cleansed?
And I did.
We did.
I
cannot
did.
stress enough how important it is to treat this thing with major respect.
It didn't work. It
No,
didn't- it didn't
and I was
work.
thankful for that. Because you could feel,
Why
just
are you
hovering the hand
thankful?
over it, you could feel.
I wanted to
It
get
was
the
like
little girl's
static
name.
energy coming off
was
it.
that?
Outside.
Outside. Yeah, we're live.
Yeah, I
by
was
the way.
thankful it did not work. I had a horrible experience using a board, and it was one of those, not Procter and Gamble.
Right, yeah.
Something Brothers.
Right.
Parker Brothers.
Parker Brothers.
Boards.
Yeah.
And
You get it.
it
Kmart in
ruined,
the old days.
it wrecked my world
Actually,
for
you can
20
get it
years
all.
before I
Really?
got rid of it. And I
What
just...
Would you talk about it? What happened?
When my daughter was conceived, we had activity in the house I was in. Dogs were responding to it. Items would come up missing only 2 days later to appear on the kitchen table. Voices being heard. The baby's rattle would never move, but the contents inside would shake. You could sit there and visually watch it, and it would never move.
So you went to your board for answers?
Yeah, we weren't even in that house. The family and I, my husband at that time and his mom and his sister, we all got the brilliant idea, let's use the Ouija board. And we got a ton of activity on it. Well, that intrigued us, and his youngest sister and I used it a few more times. Had an individual coming through claiming her name was Anne. Relation to me, there was a lot of things involved with that conversation, which piqued my interest. And then she was telling us, you can't communicate with me verbally, you have to write it down. There was something allegedly keeping her from speaking. This
Goosebumps.
Bad.
entity came through. I asked if it was a man. He told us no. My voice is even going to shake. I asked if it was a woman. He told us no. I asked if it was an animal, and it froze. And then it spelled out the proverbial number of the beast, spelled its name out, and as it did, an electric shock, like, you ever touch something that wasn't grounded right?
Yes.
And you get, it was a combination of that embedded with an intense static energy that shot out of the planjet into my fingers, into my sister-in-law's fingers, in the board, probably from us jumping, shot across the room. 20 years later, after heinous experiences of being physically attacked, nightmares, premonitions, visualizations, I went and had a psychic reading done at a Halloween party and had horrible trepidation about going. And that was the evening.
Was this before you became interested in, like,
No.
you have already was interested
It's already
in?
piqued
Yes.
her interest. That's why she's playing with the board in
Absolutely.
the first place.
No,
So,
I mean with the with your like your psychic abilities and stuff.
those have always been there. I just never understood what they were.
Is it before you understood what they were? You're having
This began
experience?
before I understood
Okay.
what.
That
yes.
makes a little bit more.
Yes.
Okay.
So, well, when I went to the psychic at the psychic party, and I sat down with her, I knew going in what she was telling me. And I went through a gamut of emotions and feelings prior to going to this that I almost didn't go. And she very seriously looked at me after she drew my cards and the spread was on the table. And she says, "We're not doing this reading here. You need to come to my office where I know we're safe. You have an attachment." I looked at her and I said, "Yes, I know." And I knew right then and there. We found out through months of work together that this thing had a female energy with it. It had been laying dormant for a while and been trying to fully attach to me for almost 20 years. Due to my spiritual practices, my spirituality, and my beliefs, that made it very difficult. This thing was bent on getting to my granddaughter.
Ooh.
As an infant, and I mean newborn infant, she had night terrors. This baby would never sleep. We had an incident where she was sleeping on the couch in an empty house. We were right outside the door. She woke up screaming her head off with a beet red handprint on the side of her face. Anybody who knows me knows.
Somebody's going to die for that.
Yeah, you don't touch my granddaughter. You don't harm my granddaughter, my daughter, my family, my closest friends.
Right.
But we knew it was
Because I know you sealed yourself away for a while. I didn't hear from
a
you
very
for a
long while until I knew this thing was cleared out. Leanne even assisted me with some of this and connected me with another individual that got rid of all the residual for me. And it took me a long time to clear the blockages to where I was able to reconnect spiritually and do readings and be comfortable with things. A
Right.
really long time.
Because what that happened like right around one of the last times you were at the park. So I started thinking, oh no, did she pick something up here at the park
No.
or whatever? So finally we talked, and you said no, it had nothing to do with the park. So that was like, yeah, because there's nothing evil here, nothing, and don't tell me there is.
I don't believe there's anything evil here, but
I
you
don't
can
know,
never
there's
say
something-
there's nothing negative anywhere,
There's definitely
Right.
something.
especially after the board use. You may not have had activity on it, but you opened a door. It's like being at home and opening the door to your house and going to bed. There is nothing stopping a robber from coming in and doing whatever.
Yes.
It's you've opened that door.
Okay, well, I guess now we can start getting into why you're here.
In our ongoing, never-ending debate between the two of us.
Yes, I mean, this isn't the first time we've talked about it. Because I mean, when you go to my website, there's big post: "Unknown isn't evil, just misunderstood." Now, here's what that means to me. Personally, this is where I'm coming from. I'm not, well, people tell me I am, but I'm not a sensitive. I don't consider myself a sensitive, although I do get goosebumps. I can feel different changes in energy. I read living people like the back of my hand. I can read them.
It's part of your job, so that
Right,
that
and
can
I
get
do
right.
it. I do it all the time. 'Cause,
That
you know,
makes you sensitive.
That's
I
what you
choose
said.
that.
But I honestly don't know how to open myself up. I mean, I'm the last time both times we've had activity now, I haven't felt anything, but yet when we don't have activity, I do. How do I explain that? If
Some things are not meant to be explained. They just are. You have to accept them.
Okay.
If you remember correctly, last night I told you I felt nothing. It was really strange.
Yeah.
The first time I came up here
Yep.
and felt nothing.
There's been a few times I've walked in and it feels very neutral, very empty. It's like walking into an
It
empty
wasn't
room.
an empty feeling. It wasn't empty, just not the energy. See, I've always known that, I don't know if it's because I'm more open-minded to it or not, but I've always believed in, like, the power of the mind.
Oh, yes.
Where you know things, whether you think you know them or not, you know them. You know them. It's extremely, extremely strong when my girlfriend Michelle and I are together. The simplest of tasks. We will sort of like our friendly little ghost hunter here, we will want to know something and find something out. We'll put our heads together, and the next thing you know, the answer presents itself to us within days. And it's the strangest of things. So I've always been open to that. So I think that kind of channels here.
Oh,
to
absolutely.
me. But in the same sense, I don't freaking know. But you're not going to convince me that there's no evil after what happened to me the last couple of weeks before I did a cleansing and saged.
Okay, well, let me get back to the story about how I became convinced that stuff was going on here. Again, the very first night it was in the arcade. There was about 6 or 7 of us, and we were doing an EVP session. And from out of nowhere, now this is in the dark, from out of nowhere, we hear a quarter drop, or a coin drop, because at the time I didn't know it was a quarter. So I got up with my flashlight, looked in the direction where we sounded like it came from, and lo and behold, there was a coin. It was a quarter. So that night, I asked him, like, hey, did anybody drop this? And it was hard to explain because somebody could have did it, but it would be hard for them to do it without me seeing it. But again, I wasn't looking for it, so I just put it in my pocket. So
the evil?
No. This is what I'm going to be. I'm explaining to you when I was convinced for the first time that yes,
Alex
there
said,
is something.
"Turn Elizabeth's volume up."
What's that?
How's this?
But anyway,
I'm glad he's here.
he's got.
I'm so glad he's here.
Yeah, you got to talk more into the mic. That's the problem.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so that night I just put the coin in my pocket and we moved on. The next time I had people in there, there was quite a few. I had a sold-out crowd, and there was like 15 of us in there. And that was the night where we had coin activity with the girl with all the equipment and stuff.
Right.
Or no. Sorry. Yes.
Yes.
And from out of nowhere, we hear what sounded like a piece of wood hit the floor. So I walk over, and we actually do find a wood shim sitting there. And it looked like, a wood shim that props open a door. So I'm like asking,
Actually called door stoppers.
Well, thank you.
You're right.
So I'm asking, hey, did anybody accidentally kick this? And everybody's denying it. And then from out of nowhere again, a quarter falls right to my feet, right in front of me. And I immediately put my flashlight on in the direction that it came from. And I'm like, and there were 2 people standing there. So in my mind, they threw that quarter. And they're swearing they did not. They swear. I'm like, look, I take this seriously, cut it out. But in my mind, they threw that quarter. So we moved on. August 9th, that was the day, the next time we were in there. They were, like you said, shouting at me. They made it clear. Absolutely. And my heart was pounding. And I'm just like, there were coins flying through the air, and I saw an object fall off of the air hockey table.
That was the money bag.
It
wasn't
was
it?
the money bag,
Yeah.
and it was
Yeah.
full of quarters. And just that instance when I saw that bag fall, my whole body was tense, and it was like, oh my God, because I'm expecting quarters to just go everywhere. And the sound, it was perfectly timed to where you only hear the sound of one coin hit the floor on my video. That night, I started videotaping. And I had the video right on where I saw it, and I'm like thinking, I am the king investigator. I got it. I got the mother or whatever.
You mean like the picture I took the other night that
Yes.
just disappeared off my camera?
Yes, like that one.
That incident
But
was
that,
intense.
that was the night that I was 100% convinced that yes, there is something going on in this park.
Oh, there is no doubt.
And
You're on a body of water.
yes.
It's been an active place since, 1800s that we know of.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of energy. That's a lot of residual energy even. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people even pick up on that. That to me does not suggest anything negative, dark, or evil. It's just there. What concerns me,
Kind of. What do you think? Like a residual?
some of it, yeah, but that doesn't explain all of it. I mean,
But
what
it's like-
Elizabeth encountered, that was not. To me, that was not residual. And
No, I don't.
I sent
agree
you
with you.
the reading that I got out
Right.
of there, and there's some things that I firmly believe
Yeah, it was
after
very
what I
emotional.
got. Absolutely.
It was very emotional.
I mean,
James
it triggered
actually thought I wasn't
emotions to
gonna come
watch
back.
it.
James thought I was never going to come back up.
No.
I wouldn't
He
have blamed
thought-
you. After watching that, and a lot of people wouldn't have. So I give you huge kudos for doing it. I'm
I'm
so
the
proud of
girl
you.
who faces it all. Yeah, again, like when we were coming upstairs, you're like, I hate spiders. Nothing fears me. It might fear me for a moment, but I'm going to face that fear head on.
There is a lot of energy. You can feel it when you walk down that hallway.
I want to see it now that I'm prepared for it.
Yeah, I
wanna
took
feel it.
pictures and shared it with some of my colleagues, and they all picked up on the same thing. There's a lot of intense energy. It's unsettling. Some of them referred to it as negative because of the low vibrations that it gives, the feelings that it gives.
Well, see,
It just lowers you
It
down.
wasn't a negative. That's what's so hard to explain to people. Is it wasn't a negative.
No, what touched you wasn't.
I didn't take it as it was so sad. Like somebody
Yes.
wanted me to know their story. Somebody seen as my girlfriend. She does what you do, and she's just convinced. Actually, I have a couple of them who are convinced I have this white light around me that just draws them. And whoever this was that came to me that night was someone who's seen that white light, felt protected by that white light, knew that I was someone who was receptive to helping others. I'm a healer. I've always been a healer, and they felt that, and that's why they did that. And my girlfriend is convinced that it hasn't happened again because whoever it was feels so bad for scaring me the way that they
He's
did.
apologized.
That's why I'm back up here. That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm back up here, because I want them to know it's okay. It's okay. Yes, it hurt, but it hurt. I hurt for you, not for me. I hurt for whatever I was feeling. It really wasn't as scared, because as you see, I came back up here. It
Right.
was a sadden. It wasn't a until the next night when I got ran over.
Right.
And then 3 days later when I wrecked my car, and then
So now
another
are you
day later when
incorporating-
this happened with my daughter, this awful thing which we've talked about, which won't go on the air, and then my son. Then I did a cleansing in my home, and things have completely changed.
So now are you incorporating all that with that experience?
Yes. Yep. I absolutely am.
I don't know.
Absolutely am. And whether it be that experience happened, and that whatever that was, it came home with me. Now, did it come home with me and cause these things to happen? Or were these things going to happen and it helped me? Because believe it or not, I literally was pedestrian run over underneath a car. And I got
At a
myself
demolition
up.
derby.
Got myself up. You understand what I mean? Like stood up. The car, I need to show you where I ran off the road. My car was taken off the road, and I went down into like this cliff thing and drove it back out. Those to me, I keep saying to James, I don't know if that attached itself to me because I needed help at that time. It knew that something was going to happen and I needed that, or if that is what caused it. But absolutely am I associating that night with everything that happened to me between then and saging. I waited to sage to come back to bring whoever it was back here at James's request. if you remember correctly.
Yes.
So if
Yeah,
it
'cause
did
I said-
not come back here,
I told her, if you took somebody home, you bring them
Oh
back.
my goodness.
You make sure. And I
lived
told
with
her.
it for a week.
I told her, this is what you tell them. You tell them you can't stay here. You got to go back. James wants you back at that park.
And what convinced
And you did
me-
that, didn't you?
I did do that. What convinced me that I had brought something from the park was my children are night people like myself, so we're up all hours of the night. So during the morning time, my house is very quiet and sleeping. Both of my children are in their rooms with their doors closed, sleeping. My girlfriend is down in the laundry room, and she is folding clothes. And I'm on the computer working on my photos, and I hear a coin drop. And I immediately associate the coin drop with someone picking up a pair of pants and the coin dropping out of the pants. My girlfriend comes up from the laundry room. She says, "Here," and hands me a quarter. "You dropped this." "No, I didn't. I haven't moved from this spot." I said, "You dropped it." She goes, "No, I didn't. I was downstairs in the laundry room. I heard it fall as well as you did." To this very moment, that coin is carried on me.
Yeah, I think I would carry it as well.
I'm not going to lie. To this very moment, that coin is carried on me. As well as now I associate that with another coin at a time that I truly needed help that was brought to me in the hospital room. There had to have been, 20, 30 people in and out of this hospital room, rushing and brain surgery going on. And I looked down, and right in the middle of the doorway, there's a penny.
Pennies from heaven.
And I put this penny, it was my husband who was going through brain surgery. And I put this penny next to him, and I haven't actually, to this day, I moved it when we left the hospital. I moved it next to our bedside on his side. And hopefully he doesn't ever pick it up and spend it. But yeah, now that I think about it, I'm starting to think that. And the quarter I found here, yeah, you're just freaking me out. All right, let's move on.
No, because again,
There's so much going on right now.
we've been finding quarters up in this area, and again, we hardly ever throw quarters up in this area.
I don't recall ever
And
throwing quarters, and I've been
once-
here
One
all
of 'em-
summer. No, I'm talking the
I think it
whole
was
time
you
I've been
that
here.
found my green one that I used to mark them with
Yeah.
green X's last
Yeah.
year, and this year I started marking them with black X's, and she found a green X, and I'm like,
You and your black X's and 666, and let's get some demons going here.
That's right.
Summon
Yeah,
some.
let's not.
I
They're very
really
Okay,
need
difficult
so
to
let-
get rid
yes,
of.
let's,
so much more. That's what I'm trying to tell him. He needs to be
let's-
so much less joking when it comes to that side of it.
let's get
He
into
so
that.
doesn't believe it, and whether you believe it or not, a lot of us around you do believe it. So
That's
your
fine.
power might keep it at bay from you, but when you summons it in here to those of us that believe, it won't keep it at bay from us because we believe.
Okay. So what am I supposed to do? I'm not
Be a
summoning.
little more considerate.
What? Or would you like me to stop saying we're going to summon some demons?
Yes.
Yes.
You know that I've asked you that a dozen times.
That one, yes.
Yes.
Oh, stop it! Now you guys are.
Unless you refer to them as your inner child.
I know.
Well, that
right?
too, but
But yeah.
okay, fine. I'll.
Only because your thoughts and your actions, your intentions,
What
all
about-
of that produces energy, which goes out to the universe, and you will bring back to you what you put out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. What do you think? I'm a bad person?
Absolutely
No,
not.
but-
You're like one of my most favorite people.
I know, and I summon
You are one
demons
of the
every Friday
furthest.
night and Saturday night throughout the entire summer, and
Not literally.
And
I
I feel
try.
like I am literally scarred because of it.
all right, this is what we do. We roll in this area. We roll dice, and just as a
Joke.
just
As
as
a
a joke. Well, as when we roll the dice, we say, "Oh, could you please roll me a 2, 4, 6, or roll something that will add up."
Oh,
to
what did
a
I roll last night?
Whatever. So, and then I'm like, let's liven this party up. And actually, Junior started it. And the first time he did it, he's like, let's summon some demons. And everybody knew what he was talking about, right? So the first one he rolled, it was a 6. He rolled them
Individually.
individually. The first one he rolled, it was a 6. Second one he rolled, lo and behold, it was a 6. And he's like, I'm not rolling this third one. And I'm like, you gotta now, man. You're already into it now. And he rolled it, and lo and behold, guess what it was? It was another 6. Nothing happened that night.
That doesn't mean it wasn't brought in that night. And that's what we're trying to explain to you. Because you don't believe it. You got 2-on-1 tonight, darling.
I know.
I'm like, I'm on point.
Look, the
having
living
backup
is
here.
evil.
I will
in
agree with
that. In my experiences in the ghost hunting
of it is
experience, when it's your daughter.
I know I saw the shadow and I thought, oh no, really?
I know.
With my experience, in the paranormal, I have been doing this for over 15 years. I only go by what I have personally experienced. Now, do I believe people that say, their experiences? To an extent, I do. But however, I would look at it something differently. Like seeing Jack make eye contact. Now, I understand that when somebody sees him and then all of a sudden he's gone, Jack looks intimidating as a man, as a living man. He's a tall guy. He's got, the facial hair. And then for have him disappear, I can see where that would scare the hell out of somebody.
I've had that happen to
Now,
me.
when-
off his mind games.
When that happened, I didn't take that as a frightening experience. I took that as an awesome experience. I took it as...
But it wasn't something to be frightened from.
But I can see where other people would say, oh my gosh, there was this creepy guy and it was this, that. It was just so scary.
That does happen often, yes.
Yes. Do you see what I'm saying?
That would be under the label of misunderstood.
Correct.
But not every experience that is perceived in that manner
It's lily
is
white, good
misunderstood.
intention.
It just isn't. I know what I experienced.
Yeah, I'm
for
never gonna let you
years.
live it down.
Next time you see Dave, ask him about the nightmare I had where he had to actually get up, turn lights on in the house, and take me to work because I was terrified beyond belief.
I believe you. I believe
Like, I didn't
that
think
part,
that type
but
of terror could exist for an individual, and this was intense.
I honestly don't know enough about it, and I don't know enough about what you went through to even say that it's something different. So I'm not going to
I already
argue with you
understand
that
part of
point.
what you went through.
However,
I just didn't take it as long as you did. I've
We
been
had it for a while.
very-
And to stand on my back dock and be shoved so hard that things are flying down my basement stairs, and I've got an enormous bruise on my back and my hip from the
where?
impact of me hitting the ground the morning I went to go see that psychic. Everything that took place that day.
was trying to stop you from seeing that
That's
psychic to
exactly
get
what
your
was
answers.
happening. And there was, and they attack you at all levels, not just physically, but
Emotionally is the
emotionally
worst
and
level for
mentally.
me.
They mess with your thoughts. They're able to project thoughts into your mind that are not yours. I sat on the couch the one night.
well, I agree with you there, but like the quarters.
Right. But I mean,
That was
okay,
the first time
here's
that
an
it was
example,
altered.
though.
I would agree that they alter things. Yeah.
Well, they do. But you know how much I absolutely love my granddaughter. The moon rises and sets with her. As I was sitting on the couch watching TV with Dave, all of a sudden this visual popped into my head out of nowhere of me aggressively grabbing her, feeling like I myself wanted to hurt her. And in that split second, I sat bolt upright and I knew exactly what had just
You
happened.
have no idea what's going on with me right
And
now.
I messaged the psychic that was working with me and I said, all right, we're not stalling any further. This has gone to a level that I will not tolerate. This needs to go. I don't care what preparations are being made, things that need to be done. We're getting rid of this
Now.
now. Like, I want it off of her. I wanted my sister and my daughter saw it in their own homes. So it wasn't just me. And people are able to have cords, psychic cords between them.
That's what I
And
believe
I
is
had-
going on between Michelle and myself. Like,
Yeah,
there is
absolutely.
so much, and I feel hundreds of years of connection.
Yep,
Not just this lifetime connection. That this is
absolutely.
over and over and over.
And I had to sever those cords just to feel as though I was protecting them, to keep this thing from trying to latch on to them. And they travel at the speed of thought. The book that I gave you today, towards the end, as he's relating one of his experiences during an exorcism he was at, his friend who lived on the opposite coast, for whatever reason, she popped into his mind. That thing that was exorcised from their, I guess we'll call him a client, went to her, and she experienced a sudden paranormal event. When she spoke with him, they were able to connect the times and everything else. And he knew right there in that moment, this thing used his mind for him to think of his friend and traveled that psychic link. And it was from New York City to California. And it was split second. It's
Well, I guess my big question is, and now I'm not questioning your experience with them or anything,
right,
but
right.
if this can possibly happen, why doesn't it happen more often?
Because I think you need to be more.
Why wouldn't it
open
happen to me?
It because I think you need to be more open to it. That's why I think you are guarded more than
I'm
I
open
am.
to it. I want to see it.
No, you've said time and time again that you do not believe in the evil.
Correct.
Time and time again.
Correct.
That protects
But folks,
you
he
on
believes
some-
in the paranormal.
Yes.
Right. Right.
Yes. 100%. And that's where I'm going. I'm coming from. Okay, here's
we
my
both
thing.
Just can't even say words after that.
No,
Like,
here's
can't. And
my-
this is where he frustrates
I
me
am-
horribly.
Me too.
Right. I am.
Naive.
When I go into an investigation, I don't even bring religion into it at all.
No,
It doesn't
absolutely,
have
it
to be
doesn't.
brought
It,
And I-
it has
religion
nothing
into
to
it.
do with religion.
And as far as being spiritual about it, I kind of I'm leaning to they might be dead people, but we're not even sure that's the case.
I would say in some circumstances or incidences, they very well could be.
Right.
Just let me
but
ask you
again,
this. Hitler, one of the most heinous individuals
Yeah.
of all time.
Yeah.
He was a negative, evil
Correct.
individual.
Correct.
When people pass, they are the same in death on the other side as they were in life. Their thoughts, their personalities, everything stays with them. You don't change. You don't change.
And that is what most people's beliefs are.
Yeah, no, you don't change.
I mean, it's still a belief.
Right. That's
Still a
my
belief.
getting at. So if I don't believe the same thing you believed, am I wrong?
No, it doesn't make you wrong.
No, but it doesn't make us wrong when we believe something you don't.
Yes, it does.
It makes you
No.
close-minded at
Yes.
times.
You guys
Absolutely.
are wrong.
Absolutely closed-minded.
Well, no, it's not closed-minded because so I don't buy into the evil demon stuff. But yeah, I know there's something out there that we don't understand, and I tend to, you know what? Defend me, people. If you're out there and you don't also believe in the demon stuff, you know,
Hit us
help
up,
me
send
out.
us a message.
Right.
We'll take it up on next show.
I don't know if they're able to
Friday night.
access the live chat that's on this feed.
They
That's all
they
right.
are,
They
they
can come
can,
at
and
us later.
I said, hey, ask any questions, and because
comes
Junior
through, I'll
and we
read it.
got Gilbert Paranormal that says,
lots.
hey guys,
My apologies,
Hey,
everyone.
Gilbert.
Gilbert's Paranormal. I gotta check him out.
Thank you,
him or her.
Junior.
Send him a friend request or whatever. Oh no, we're on YouTube.
Shout out to Gilbert's Paranormal.
Yeah, yeah. We've got comments. See, and I said, I love you, Junior. But anyways,
All right, we've been.
we
yapping an
we
hour.
have been
should roll this
like,
up.
holy crap! Yes, we are almost an hour, and that was the CasperCop Power Hour.
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
well,
it's so horrifying for you, isn't it?
here's my buddy Ben Sounds at bensounds.com. bensounds.com. I believe he's the one who made that jingle.
For anybody interested in developing any psychic or mediumship abilities, leannedouglas.com. She's actually having a sale on her teachings, guidance, and
Okay.
mentorship.
Yep, I just turned it down. Say that again.
What part? All of it?
No, the website.
Oh, it's leannedouglas.com.
leannedouglas.com. Is that where you go?
That she is my teacher and mentor.
Oh, that's cool.
I owe
Awesome.
much to her.
All right. Elizabeth, you got anything to add?
I don't. I'm just looking forward to tonight's tour.
I know, and hopefully. Oh, yeah. I guess we mentioned it, but we did have a bouncy ball activity last night.
A little bit.
Yep.
A little bit.
In the arcade.
Yay,
Curious
yay.
to see what happens.
Little bouncy ball
I'm
came rolling back.
curious to see that bouncy ball come back tonight, and we'll talk about it Friday.
Yes.
We'll hit on it.
Yep, and we're going to try to be back live again next Friday
Not try
and
to be,
Saturday
we'll be
night.
here.
We'll be here. I think
We'll
I
be
got everything figured out. I hope I got everything figured out. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Special thank you to Haunted History Trails in New York State. We love you.
Yes, we do.
Oneida County Tourism, thank you so much.
Grateful for all of your help.
If you're interested in that little song that we played before the show today, that's my friend Jim Wade, and I believe it's at Reverb Nation /Wild Jim. You can go and listen to all of his songs there. So I hope
like
everybody.
CasperCop on Facebook. Come
Yes.
down, join us for a tour. We're
Yes.
looking forward to seeing y'all and hearing from you.
Our last weekend's coming up next weekend.
Gonna be a big one.
We're also looking for new places to go and broadcast. So if you got a haunted location, we'll come and do a show. Maybe
I do.
interview and ask about your paranormal experiences, because we're gonna have some free time on our hands. And then I'm
Absolutely.
talking to you, Buffalo Terminal. I don't want to say any names.
Don't you leave me out of that one.
That. Yes.
I will take some hardcore vacation to
I
go.
want to do it on the
only Buffalo.
top.
It's only Buffalo.
Jennifer, I
We
may
could
have
do
to
it in a
fly
day.
you in for that, darling.
Yes, the Buffalo. I want to do it from the top, and I already thought about it. We would probably need a generator to put outside and stuff. But so thank you, everybody. Tune in next week. Thank you, Lesley, for joining us.
Thank
I
you
had
for
fun.
having me.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Now I got to go back and
Good night, everyone.
good night. I'm trying to get to it. We're just gonna stream forever because I don't know how to.
Leanne, you may be getting another message.
Oh, there it is. It's coming up in a minute. There we go. Bye, everybody.